Islamabad, Pakistan. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, on his first visit to Pakistan in that role, called on its top military and civilian officials Monday to redouble efforts to prevent Islamist militants from using the country as a refuge and a launch pad for attacks on Afghanistan and elsewhere. But Mattis seemed to tone down the sharp language he has used in congressional hearings and other settings to accuse Pakistan of harboring Afghan Taliban fighters. Instead, he adopted a milder, more diplomatic approach aimed at finding common ground. Statements from the Pakistani Prime Minister's office and the Pentagon late Monday, after Mattis had left the country, described his interactions with Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi, Pakistan's defense minister, and its military and intelligence chiefs in positive, bland terms. The U.S. Embassy said he praised Pakistan's sacrifices in the war against terrorism while insisting that it must redouble its efforts to confront militants within its borders. Abbasi was even more upbeat, saying in a statement that both countries share a commitment to the war against terrorism and asserting that there are no safe havens for militants in Pakistan. He emphasized Mattis's comments about continuing the long-term relationship between the former Cold War allies and deepening cooperation for the common goal of eliminating terrorism from the region. The U.S. says Pakistan must work with Afghanistan on terrorism. It won't be easy. There was no public mention from either side of the repeated threats by President Trump and other top U.S. officials that Washington will take strong action against Pakistan if it fails to stop sheltering militants. The punitive measures could include significant cuts in military and economic aid, retracting Pakistan's status as a major non-NATO ally, and declaring it a state sponsor of terrorism. Pakistani army officials said they told Mattis that Pakistan has done much more than its due share despite capacity constraints. They said Mattis told them that his aim was not to make demands. In a statement, the officials said the U.S. defense chief expressed concern that a few elements use Pakistani territory to promote terrorism in Afghanistan, and they said they are prepared to look into the possibility that such miscreants may be taking cover in Afghan refugee communities. But other U.S. officials have continued to assert that Pakistan has not taken sufficient action, despite repeated meetings with U.S. military officials and a visit from Secretary of State Rex Tillerson 1 month ago. Trump's new Afghanistan policy has Pakistan angry and alarmed. We have been very direct and very clear with the Pakistanis. We have not seen those changes implemented yet, General John Nicholson Jr., the top U.S. commander in Afghanistan, said at a news conference in Kabul last week. But he, too, said the United States is hoping to work together with the Pakistanis to eliminate cross-border terrorism, and did not mention any sanctions. In Washington on Saturday, CIA Director Mike Pompeo said the United States will do everything we can to ensure that safe havens no longer exist if Pakistan does not do so.